management to the technical part of revenue management. Why is it important? Okay, so you were kind of front office manager, now you're director of sales and marketing perhaps. Okay, so we can see that the revenue management cog is what is supposed to drive, if you like, the sales cog and the marketing cog. Why? Because revenue management is about analysing the data and identifying opportunities in the future. And we need to break down, we need to think about opportunities in relation to time of the day, but also day of the week patterns. So we've got to understand where can we capture maximum revenue, but where do we also need to stimulate demand for our products. And that's why the revenue management cog will drive sales, where please go and bring me something in my need periods, and also driving marketing, saying please can you go and do some campaigns in these periods, in order, because that's where we identify the different demand periods. Okay, so you have that also written there. So revenue management works with marketing to provide products and packages for each campaign. Revenue management identifies commercial opportunities to increase profit, and revenue management focuses the sales strategies on the most profitable segments. We think we know who are our most profitable customers, don't we, as hotels? But I can tell you we don't. And I did a study for 6 weeks, not in the Lugano Dante Hotel, but in the sister property of the Lugano Dante. And I did a study, and I collected 6 weeks of data. And what I did, how did I collect data on the customers? To find out who were the most profitable customers. So I took the data from the property management system, and I also observed customers. So for example, I was living in the hotel for 6 weeks, can you imagine? So on check-in time, I would stand at reception and I would time each of the check-ins. Alright, in the morning, I was timing and watching and observing each of the check-outs. So basically, over the 6 weeks, I tracked 600 customers from when they arrived to when they left. So I asked the people in breakfast, can you observe the customers eating at breakfast, and can you indicate to me, so I don't want to know anything about the average customers, but what I want to know is there a customer that has breakfast included in their rate and they don't go and have breakfast, they don't come at all for breakfast? So I was tracking that. Is there a customers that come and they pile the plate high with food, and then all the food is left on the table and there's lots and lots of waste? And so tell me the customers that consume more than average, and the customers that consume less than average. They just come and have a coffee and they leave. Because I know the average, I could know the average cost for breakfast, because that's what we work with in hotels, isn't it? Averages of all of our customers. But actually, the costs that customers generate when they're in the hotel are different. So I calculated the cost of the occupied room. So when a customer occupies a room, they generate cost. They use some water, they use electricity, we have to change the linen of the bed and the towels. So I asked housekeeping every day when they go into the room to indicate to me which customers they have to spend more time in and which customers they have spend just much less than average. So I got some information about more than average time, less than average time. I was less interested in the average. Okay? What else did I collect? Minibar. So this particular hotel offers 8 complimentary items in the minibar. So I tracked every single customer, what they actually took from the minibar, what they actually consumed from the minibar. I also, during the check-in and check-out, I observed the things that created cost. What were the activities that the staff used their time on? So for example, if you had a lot of luggage and they had to transport the luggage, or they had to keep the luggage in the storeroom, that takes time. They had to park the car storage, and basically lots of different things. So at the end of the study, I could exactly see from those 600 customers who was the most profitable customer and who was the least profitable customer. Exactly, because I tracked them, every single customer. Alright? So I asked the hotel, who do you think is the most profitable customer? And you know what? The customer they thought was the most profitable was the least profitable. And the customer they thought was the least profitable was actually the most profitable. Now that's a hotel that knows what it's doing, right? So what that should help us understand is, as humans, we make false assumptions. And unless we have data that actually proves it, we have biases and we have different things that affect the way we think, which means oftentimes we come out with the wrong idea of things. Right? So that's why revenue management helps to identify profitable customers from the data, the real data of what happened. And if we have a CRM with our revenue management system and our front office system, we really know what that customer did and we can really track that. And you know what, another problem I noticed in that hotel is that there was a bad attitude of people at the front desk with customers that booked via Expedia. The attitude was, they're trash. Not really that significant, but in the sense that, because the front people working in the front office, what do they see in the system? They see the rates, right, that the hotel is getting. But what we miss in our brains, because we're humans, is the link between that's the rate the hotel is getting, that's not the rate that gets paid. Alright, so that's another thing. And also what we miss understanding is Expedia is the one that is taking all of the costs of the payment and the billing. All of that Expedia is doing, the marketing, the billing. So what I noticed with Expedia customers is the check-in was 1 minute on average with an Expedia customer, but with a customer that booked direct, the check-in was on average 5 minutes. And that's because there's a relationship when customers book direct. And customers, whether we like it or not, they know they are saving you money by booking direct. They know that you're not paying commission. So what they expect from you is more. They say, oh, I've saved you money by booking direct, so I have the right to ask you more questions. You have to give me more now because I've helped you. They know that. And that's, whether it's in the back of their minds or in the front of their minds, they know that. And there's that relationship, and they have more expectations, whereas Expedia customers, less expectations. We have no administration costs. We have no cost of someone answering the phone, putting in the information. We have no credit card costs, and of course there's no commission because that's a net rate. So, you know, we need to have the big picture, and oftentimes we don't have that, and that's why we need technology to help us see the big picture. Because oftentimes we only have part of the information and not all of the information. And we need to have the complexity of revenue management is we need to have lots of prices available at the same time. So in hotels we need to stop thinking that we're selling rooms. We're not selling rooms. We're selling an experience, right? Which involves lots of different things. So we should be selling rooms products, not specific rooms. Room number 4. No, I'm not selling room number 4. I'm selling a premium product, and included in that premium product is a spacious room, and a view of the Matterhorn, and breakfast, and dinner, and something else. You know, so that's our premium product. But at the same time, we can have a economy product that maybe is available in May or June, perhaps, that you have to qualify for. So you have to do something or be someone to qualify for that. And that also includes a room, but there's no breakfast and there's no dinner, and maybe no view of the Matterhorn. Right? So at the same time, we can sell both of those products. We're not saying this is going to apply to a particular room. Okay, if we're talking about the view, it has to kind of be one of the rooms that has a view. And the reason for that is because we want to be like the airline. Do you remember the picture of my fish with the divider? In the airlines, if it's going to be a busy flight, let's say on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, they know that flight is going to be, there's going to be more demand, more people with a high willingness to pay. So here on the fish, it's supposed to be a flame. If they know there's going to be more demand for business class seats, more people with a high willingness to pay, they simply move that curtain to here. Okay? Sometimes it happens there's no curtain at all because it's a flight where there's not much demand, so they just kind of sell all of the seats as economy. Or they'll put that divider and they'll say, okay, 2 rows are business class on Mondays. On Wednesdays we're going to have 3 rows of business class. So that means they can vary the number of premium products by the forecasted demand because they have some flexibility. And that's why in hotels we shouldn't talk about room number 4, we should be talking about room products. So a room's product is going to be made up of tangible and intangible things. So we've got a room. Okay, we might have different types of rooms. Think about the seat on the plane. On that business class, on that plane, every seat was the same. But how do they make the product business class and make people who are paying a much higher price? Because let's face it, business class seats are a lot more expensive than economy class seats, and yet it's the same seat. It's going from the same airport to the same airport at the same time, and the journey is the same. So how do we make that seat better? Well, first of all, we make the seats in the front row so people feel they're more special, because that's a special area and everybody knows that, based on where that curtain is. But we can make that area bigger or smaller, depending on demand. But also we can add services, right? So if you're sitting in business class, you're served a meal, whereas if you're sitting in economy class, you have to buy food from the trolley that comes by and you might have to wait for ages. Whereas in business class, you're served first. There's more staff allocated to that section. All right, so we can think about that in restaurants as well, thinking about offering different experiences and different products. Do we have a business class and economy class area in the restaurant? For example, I'll talk about the Hotel Danieli in Venice. Have you ever been to... You've been to Venice, of course. Everybody's been to Venice, right? Venice is another destination like Zermatt, isn't it? Very, very special. Have you been to Venice? If you haven't, you have to go. Come on. It's such a lovely place. Now, if you haven't been to Venice, then I have to tell you a little bit that you have the Grand Canal, which is amazing, which is where you have all of the gondolas going up and down, and you have these lovely historic buildings on each side of the Grand Canal. And the Grand Canal starts from the lagoon that's in front of, that divides, if you like, Venice from other parts of Italy. Right? So there's a palace hotel in Venice called the Hotel Danieli, and the Hotel Danieli has a restaurant on the 5th floor. And I can tell you, if you ever go to Venice, go and have lunch in the restaurant of the Hotel Danieli, because they have a terrace, and if you have a table on the edge of the terrace, you can see the lagoon and the whole Grand Canal, and the view is the most magnificent view. It's like having the view from the top of this hotel of Zermatt. And do you know what? The price, the menu, so I can go there, go up to the 5th floor, I'm not a guest in the hotel, go up to the 5th floor, go and sit on the table on the terrace, and I can sit on that terrace for 3 hours, and I can order a bottle of water and a plate of ravioli and spend €50 for that incredible experience. Now, what am I paying for? Am I paying for a bottle of water and a plate of ravioli? Or am I paying for an experience, in gastronomic, not gastronomic with a plate of ravioli, but a meal experience with that wonderful view? So we have to stop thinking that we're selling a meal. We're not. We're selling an experience. And in the same way, we're not selling a room, we're selling an experience in Zermatt. So we've got to think about, and this is where our creativity comes in, we've got to think about lots of different products, because we have to have lots of different prices. Because if we just have one fixed price, we're going to lose opportunity, because there are people that have a higher that would have been willing to pay more if we had higher prices and more premium products. In the same way, if we have a fixed price, there might be people that would have come if the price was a bit lower. Alright, so with one fixed price, we lose volume, which is not a problem. If we manage to sell everything with a fixed price, that's great. So we don't lose volume, but what we do is lose opportunity. So if we're sold out, if our hotel is, are there nights where your hotel is sold out 2 months before the date, or 3 months before the date, or even 1 week before the date? That means your prices are too low. Because if your prices were set at the right level, you would sell out on the day of arrival. That's when you would sell your last room. So with revenue management, we can do that because we can predict what's going to happen, and so the sellout happens really very, very close to the actual day itself, or actually on the day itself. Right? So if we're sold out, that means we've lost opportunity with the fixed rate, because there are some people that are staying in a hotel that probably would have paid more if there was a nicer or better product available. In the same way, if we've only got 50% occupancy, we could have sold more rooms if we had some lower prices available. Right, so we've got to think about how we can make better revenue from the spaces that we have.
But that's also